When I see this book, I immediately get enraged. When I tell you I literally chucked this book across the room, I mean it. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be doing my June reading wrap up. June was a month. So basically it was my worst reading month ever. Numbers wise, the books I read wise too, and I am in the worst reading slump of my freaking life. But let's just jump right into the very few books I read this month. Like, I'm not saying like it's bad if you only read a few books. Whatever works for you. Personally, I am an extremely fast reader and I like to read 10s of 20s of books a month. That definitely didn't happen this month. I apparently stuck with the summer book theme. So first up, I read Alex Approximately. The whole premise of this book is super interesting to me. It is basically about two people who are talking anonymously online, and then she goes to live where he lives and she wants to find him without him knowing it's her. They actually meet in person but don't know that they are talking online with each other as well. I gave this a 3.5 stars because I was in a slump this whole time and it just didn't really stick with me. I did like it, but I didn't love it. I don't know where the clip of me saying why I didn't like Alex Approximately is. I liked the friendships in this book. Both characters had entertaining and good friendships. And I also thought that this story was actually just like well written and had a lot of different like plot aspects and stuff going on. One thing though, there wasn't as many like chats with them online as I thought there was gonna be, and then after they like met in person, you like stopped seeing the chats altogether, which was kind of annoying because I felt like it would have been like more dramatic and entertaining if it would have kept going. Again, I got it because they were talking in person instead of on the thing more, but yeah. So then I read The Infinity Between Us, and when I tell you I literally chucked this book across the room, I mean it. Back, I'd give this a 2.5 stars. There are some aspects of it that I still think about. Not like in a good way, like I'll just be like, oh, I read other books, I'm like, oh, that happened in this one, that was similar type thing. Second Chance, like lake house vibes. Didn't really like this. It was kind of annoying, and again, the slump really affected everything I was doing in this month. So next I read The Inmate by Frida McFadden. Frida McFadden is one of my favorite authors, and her books I always read super fast, and I did still read this one fast, but like I'm still in a book slump, so it clearly didn't really help, I guess. The premise of this one is basically this girl, I have no clue what her name is, she goes to work at a prison, and one of the inmates at that prison is actually her ex-boyfriend, who she kind of sort of got sent to prison. Like, she kind of is the reason he got sent to prison. Super interesting, and I liked the idea of that. However, the twist at the end got kind of far-fetched. There was no way in heck I saw these coming, but with that it did get a little far-fetched. And then I read What Happens After Midnight by Kale Walther. I was so excited for this freaking book and it disappointed. So I loved the Taylor Swift references, loved all that, but I felt like this was so dragged out because literally 250 pages of this book were just about this like scavenger hunt thing they were on, and it just got so boring, and I was just like, ugh. The premise of this is they are at a boarding school, and every year the like jester, it's called, sets up this whole like scavenger hunt thingy and has people help them. So our main girl Lily, she is one of the helpers, so they put on this like scavenger hunt senior prank type thing. And the second chancey, I don't know, it was weird. I didn't really like the relationship in this book. And then I reread Beach Read by Emily Henry because I thought this would break me out of my slump. I was on vacation reading this. Vibes kind of matched a bit. I am not someone who can read without entire peace and quiet. I cannot read in rooms with anyone else, and that is not what I got on this vacation. I was constantly with other people no matter where I was, and it wasn't necessarily quiet. So with that, I had a hard time just focusing on the book. But the first time I read this, gave this 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. I still love it. I just couldn't really focus on the book that much. So the premise of Beach Read, I feel like this book's been around for so long and like everyone in the world has read it. But if you don't know, So it's Gus and January. They're both authors, and they're both like in book slumps. Yeah, you know, they're both in writing slumps, and they are next door neighbors at this like lake house type thing. So they basically get together and decide to swap genres, write each other's genre. Obviously they fall in love. One thing I will say, this doesn't really take place on the beach much. Like, it's not too summery. Like, they are in a lake, in like a lake town, but like it's not super beachy, I'd say. Don't let the name fool you. And then quickly, I just wanted to go through, I thought this would be kind of fun for you guys. I wanted to go through and talk about all of the books that I tried to read in my slump and kind of talk about like what started it. So the thing that started it is Mother Freaking Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. When I see this book, I immediately get enraged. Leigh Bardugo is one of my favorite authors. Shadow and Bone, Six of Crows, favorite series. But this book, literally every time I see it, I'm literally gonna donate this. I'm done. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it anymore. This book I thought I was gonna love. I've never really read Dark Academia before, but I really thought I'd like it. It's basically about secret societies, all that. I don't even like talking about this, it just pisses me off. So I've read to page 200, and I'm not someone who can DNF a book. Like, if I start something, I'm gonna finish it. So I made the biggest mistake ever of not DNFing this book. I was reading it and I'm like, oh my god, I hate this. I kept going, and look how here I am now in a month-long slump. So I do not recommend this book. It got me in this. So while I was in the slump, these are the books that I tried to read, and nothing bad against these books. I know I will love these all once I get out of the slump. So I started to reread my favorite series ever, ACOTAR. I got 94 pages in and I couldn't even read this, my favorite book ever. And then To Kill a Kingdom. I'm actually a little bit farther in this now because I picked it up on Kindle Unlimited. I'm on around page 250, I'd say. And I love The Little Mermaid. I love Enemies to Lovers Fantasy. And I can't do it. It's literally a Little Mermaid Enemies to Lovers Fantasy retelling. That should be my favorite thing ever. And I can't do it. I also picked up The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. And I think I'm gonna try to push myself to read this because I know it's a series I'll literally love and be my ride or die. The one thing with this though that I feel like will kind of negatively impact my book slump is the fact that this is a prequel and like short stories. I feel like I'm not gonna be as attached to it or as into it if I started with Throne of Glass. But I've heard it's best to start with this, so I'm gonna do it, maybe. And then another book I have started is Jade City. I am 30 pages in, and I know it's such a good book, but I am just like being so confused by the characters, who's who, what the heck's going on, what all the names are, what everything means. So that is definitely not helping, because I just need a book that's like, I'm definitely in a fantasy mood, but I'm not in like a enemies to lovers, she must save the world, stuff like that. Like, I'm not in the mood for like an ACOTAR Cruel Prince-esque story. Like, I don't know what I want, that's the thing. But anyway, please let me know if you have any sort of tips to get me out of this book slump, because I feel like I've tried everything and nothing is working. So please let me know down below, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry this video is definitely not even worthy of posting, let's be so for real, but I just wanted to post my wrap up out there. So yeah.